One thing I'm curious about is why are we the only planet to have produced a Christ?
I wish I could answer that. I don't know. We're a Ray 2 planet with just love, wisdom, Ray. Christ and the Buddha are brothers. And Maitreya has the job of being head of hierarchy, that the label of that position is called the Christ. And it's the first one that we've had on this planet. And Christ and the Buddha are brothers. Christ is love, the Buddha is wisdom. They work together all the time. There's no separation. Now, forget the religions. It has nothing to do with religions. We've developed that. We have done that. So the job of the Christ, from what is taught, and someday we'll talk about that's how Maitreya overshadowed the Master Jesus. He really did die on the cross. He really go to the Father. And what Theosophy teaches is that person, Jesus, is back. He's living in Jerusalem using the word Jesus, using the name Jesus. He is a 5th degree initiate. Appear and disappear, come and go. He is a master. But I'm thinking that this is the only love, wisdom, Ray planet. I don't know the answer to that. But for hook or crook, we did it. And so we're watched. We're watched very carefully. And we are all, every single human being, alive and dead, as you call it, is on the path to becoming that level of 5th degree master. The 4th degree initiation is the crucifixion. It's a very difficult life. Example of 4th degree initiate was Jimmy Carter. What did he struggle with? I don't know. But in order to go through the 4th degree initiation, you have to start giving up everything of this world. And the 5th degree initiation is to bring a body back to life. Think about the cave. The 6th degree initiation. And if you're curious about this, what Theosophy teaches, I'm not into religion, is that Maitreya's 5th degree initiation was he brought the body of the Master Jesus back to life. Jesus' soul was with the Father. And Maitreya walked in that body until the time where he ascended. The ascension is your 6th degree initiation. This is what Theosophy teaches. Don't get your panties in a wad because I'm going against Christianity or Judaism. I'm not going against that. I'm simply stating, as a research analyst, this is what Theosophy teaches.
So do animals have the same hierarchy or evolution as we do in that way?
No, they don't. Animals are like the Borg. Star Trek, the Borg. They're a hive soul. And it makes me personally sad that all of the dozens or hundreds of pets or creatures that I've helped or been with, when they die, they don't come back. You can have a DNA copy of your dog. It's not the same one because they do have a spirit. And the spirit, I'm not quite sure. It's never been explained to me really what that does. But they do have a spirit, but not a soul. They evolve by being around humanity. For chickens to evolve, you just have to walk past them. So they evolve. We are, as the Christian Bible says, we are the guardians of the lower animals. And the reason we're allowed to kill and eat animals is because during the, let's call it prehistoric and a little after that time, I'm not going to get into Zinjanthropus, Olduvai Gorge, all those periods, because the dates are wrong, by the way. They're wrong. But animals killed people every day, maybe every hour. You are not allowed to kill something with a soul. And by the way, the cetaceans in the ocean, they have souls. but not human souls. The whales, the dolphins, they have souls. Birds themselves are not part of the animal kingdom. Birds are the avian, are part of the angelic kingdom. You can think about that for a little bit, what that means. But animals do not reincarnate, they do not come back, they may have some of the same personality structures. It's a very complex issue, and I certainly don't totally understand it. Do your own research.
So if birds are angelic of sorts, are they connected to the spiritual world more than other animals?
I think they are. And I mean, I really do, because they have ability. Well, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say something that's just stupid and wrong. Birds have a different kind of access to spirituality. Look, and when I say they're from the angelic realm, they are from an aspect of Deva, of high Davic energies that were created to serve God and to serve us in different ways. And in one way, they remind us of the ability to take flight in thought.
Hmm. That's really neat because you could definitely tell that, the way you described how whales have souls, they're a little different than other animals. We always kind of clump all animals together, but they really are very different, aren't they?
They are, and the cetaceans come from other planets. They are not from here. They don't have human souls. But there are animals many of them have been brought here. I find this statement interesting. So in the Christian Bible, it says that God created the people and the animals on the sixth day. That means he didn't create any more. Where'd they come from? Where'd they come from? Well, there are many star-seated beings on this planet. There are many people who are from other galaxies, star systems. I think most people are. And the animals that were created to be here, I don't know which ones those are, which ones have been brought here. I know that there is a planet way out there that's just cats, and they're not little feral cats running around. They're vertical. I met one called Minka, and that sounds psychotic as hell. But they're all different levels to cats on that planet. There's the house cats up to these great beings. Everything you can imagine's out there. And when you look at things like Star Wars or you look at Disneyland, where do you think they get the ideas? From other realities.
It does make sense that anything you can imagine is real, because even just on Earth, there's a lot of absurd things, there's a lot of crazy and impossible things that happen every day.
There are, and I hate using this word power, that it's power, somebody's powerful. I don't like that word because I think the only power comes from God. I can have personal power, but I'm borrowing it for a while. My personal power is my free will and choice. But there are certain cryptids, and I know we talked about cryptids last week, and we'll address it again. But there are a couple cryptids that really aren't even so-called real. They're thought forms that have been created by people's high emotional reactivity to the story of what they can and can be. And then they manifest. It's like a poltergeist. They become physical and they're able to interact with the physical world.